So today you're with Mark and Diane from Real Estate News and Views. Mark, it's happened.
We said it would. Okay. We said that it would happen. And it happened faster than I thought because we only said that 2 weeks ago, maybe three, where we will see the Barrie real estate market surpass 1,000 listings.
Which
So,
we've never seen.
which we've never seen. So, viewers, stick around because we're going to go through where the inventory is and offer some solutions and what to do because it's not working right now. And I'll leave
No.
it.
So
And
what I decided to do is give you an up-to-date right this second,
yes.
okay? Um, Inventory numbers,
Yes.
okay?
I'll get my calculator here.
Get your calculator there. Hold on, I gotta move this little bar. So in freeholds, Mark, we have 752.
Okay.
In condos, I will give you the number. 113.
That seems low.
Oh no, hold on. That's lease.
I was going to say, I thought you picked me.
Uh, 113 for lease.
It's a lot.
Oh my God, that's horrible too.
It's something we don't even check too much to talk about. That's a high
No,
number.
you're right. We don't.
With all
That's a
the buildings like debut, I see a lot coming up there for lease.
253.
253, 253 plus. What was the other one?
752.
7,005.
We have hit 1,000.
Yeah. And let's show the viewer where the 1,000 is so we can go in the freehold market. When you're pulling up that, I'll do a bit of a plug here. Subscribe to the channel because this channel gives you the right news at the right time, and there's no bullshit.
Yeah.
Second, if you're looking for a home evaluation, click the link, but there's a catch. It's not a 30-second, here's your valuation. It takes us time to prepare a correct one, and we like to communicate with that. So answer the phone when we call would help because I've got lots that just don't respond. So it's not a 30-second one. And if buyers are looking for stuff, click the second link and we can find a list of homes based on your criteria. So
Okay,
where,
so between 5 and 600, there's 33.
okay. And that's normal, right? There's not much for the 5 to 600 range in the free market, right? The odd, maybe if you're lucky, two-bedroom townhouse or um some homes up in Letitia Heights and other areas. Yes, you'll see it in that price range.
600 to 700, 121.
Okay, I want to write that down. 6 to 7. That's the one I want to kind of look at. Okay.
Are you
And
writing
that's
this down?
I'm not writing it down, but I can if I got a pen. Okay, I do. Okay.
Six, because I'm going to need this later anyway, right? 6 to 7, 121.
6 to 7. What was the other one? 100. What was the other one? 5 to 6. Was it 33?
Yep.
Okay.
7 to 8,
Yeah.
166.
And those type of homes, semi-detached, newer, towns, newer, and small, detached.
Detached. 8 to 9,
Yep.
154.
Okay. Most likely all detached at that range.
9 to a million, 96. 180 over a million.
That number keeps growing.
Yeah, so on our spreadsheet, that's why I wanted you to do this, okay?
All right, put it in.
Our spreadsheet, this is what we had active last month.
Okay, so let's look at it.
Let
So
me stick some numbers in. So give me the 5 to 6,
33,
6 to
121,
7,
121,
7 to 8,
166, 154, 96, 180.
Oh my God, Mark.
Lots.
Well, what happened to the 8 to 9 was at 279?
Well, okay, we know it didn't all sell. So you're going to see
Oh, you
some,
know what could have happened? Well, some of it could have sold, some of it could have got taken off, some of it could have gone a different price change.
yep, could have floated down, reduce it below that price range, probably, because 7 8 range has been consistent, only up 5 listings. But
Hold
oops,
on, let's make sure I'm right. 154.
all right, so it's okay. But again, through like you said, some price decreases, some properties have sold as well, right?
Yeah.
But not that much. I mean, in a sense, what we're seeing.
Well, every other one went up.
Right. Right. And there's still, when we look at that, over a million range, we have 92% selling. These have all gone up now. And yes, people are going to think it's a little negative and you should be spinning it differently, but we're not spinning it differently because that's not the reality.
No.
And I saw something on YouTube this morning. I'm going to pull it up. I texted it to you, but I want to talk about it. It says inventory is stacking up. This is by Global News. Realtors turn down clients as Vancouver's home sales lowest since 2020. It was a 2-minute video. There's realtors talking in the video about saying the sellers have a different idea of what they want, and the buyers have a different idea of what they're willing to pay, right? And they're becoming very frustrated because they get an offer and it doesn't meet their expectations. But it doesn't meet the expectations because they're at a 2021 market, 22 market, and this buyer's at a 24, 25 market. So if nothing is happening. And now some of the realtors are putting in the clause saying, hey, that's fine if you don't take it, but I need to be compensated for some time, and we're rightly so, and some expenses of photos, videos. That stuff's not cheap. Open up. So I don't blame them. But my thought is, why take the listing? Why are we seeing this not just in Ontario, but we're seeing it across Canada?
Well, there are a lot of agents I know. I told you I was at the office, and one of the agents at the office got a call from a past client. And the guy said to him, well, I need to sell. I'm thinking of moving up north where my daughter is, blah, blah, blah. And he started talking about price. And the agent got off the phone and said to me, well, that's a listing I will take because he's being reasonable and I'll be able to sell it. They talked about price a little bit, about what he expected. So that agent wasn't going to take it if it was ridiculous. And I have other agents I've talked to who said the same thing. Like, I'm not taking something I can't sell.
The
So,
market, we can't create a market for stuff. And everybody thinks that we can create this false market and someone will buy it. It's that we don't participate in that part of the market. The market, it does what it's going to do. There's sellers and there's buyer. There's demand and there's not demand. And right now, we don't have a lot of demand at those price points. But I will say, in that video it talked about too, and I've said all the time, when things get priced right, it sells. So how much real demand is out there for housing today? I think it's bigger than we think, but the price points are way elevated to where they were back and some are back in 21, 22. And we can go through 10 million listings as we always do, but we're not going to do it this time, is showing all the history of the bullshit because that's all it is.
well, it is. And look at there was that one on Windsor Circle that I sent you.
Yeah.
Remember at 938, I think it was?
Yeah, that's what they got for it, right?
No, they got 935.
Okay. Well,
No, no, no. Sorry. It was, I don't know. They
not
got a
eight,
little bit over asking,
not
a little
much.
bit over, but they
That
weren't withholding offers. But you and I both saw it come up and like, well, this is a good price.
it is a good price and it's sold in a couple days.
2 days.
We did a deal 10 days ago, listed for 3 days. We got it done because it was priced properly. And
And
these
my one in Innisfil, 12 days, it sold.
so the biggest thing we can tell sellers is that if you're not expecting a certain number, don't list. Don't waste your time. Don't waste the realtor's time. Don't waste our time because it's not going to sell. You're going to become frustrated. You're going to hate the realtor. You're going to blame the realtor. You're going to probably go with someone else. They may be lucky if you may listen to them after it's 5 or 6 months, but we can't create markets for stuff. There's just not it there. We're not in the same environment we were back then. That was all cheap money. Ching, it went up like that. We seen it, right? And
Yeah.
then the feds didn't, reduce this month, which we kind of thought they'd go 25 basis points. Surprised they didn't, but I still think they're going to go lower in the second half of this year. But until we see some demand, those prices are not coming back. And I really believe that if you want to sell your home, look at this, what we just pulled up. These numbers don't lie. We didn't make them up.
No.
So if I was okay, so I had a listing appointment that we listed this, we went live today, you know, we thought 699. The more we dug into the comparables, no, we're not a 699 anymore. We're 675. And you got to do a lot of work because there's a lot of competition out there. There's
Yes. And the thing is too, I'm starting to, and I heard a big real estate agent in Barrie that's on TV said you can't look at solds anymore.
well, I beg to differ because that's the only thing you have to look at for guidance.
Well, and for me, with all those listings that are out there, I'm not looking. Usually, I will look at the actives and the solds. I kind of do a bit of both. Right now, I'm not looking at the actives at all.
No, you look at them to say, okay, you know what? Here's what's in the market. Here's maybe how we should be positioned based on this price point. This is to why, this is to why we want to sell soon and we want to be priced for the market. So we'll probably sell before any of these folks sell because they've
Yeah,
already,
I'm actually the last one, I just pulled every single sold that was comparable to their house in the last 30 days.
well, for sure. I mean, that's the right way to do it. But again,
Like
I
with this much inventory on the market,
there's a lot
there
of
are so many. Well, the problem is okay, say I'm looking at your house, right? The listing you just listed. I can go find two or three or four or five townhouses in the sevens
Mhm.
and say, oh, well, mine looks better than that.
Mhm.
But Mark, they're not selling.
Not selling. You can't do that. Can't do that.
You can't do it because, yeah, great. They're out there on the market. We're competing with them, but there's 100 listings.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
like, we can't just look at the two or three that are priced higher and say, oh, well, I'm better than that. So I can price the
Yep.
same or just a little touch lower and I'll be good. No, it
Can't.
doesn't work like that.
Just doesn't. It just doesn't. We can't create a market for it. And those folks worked hard. They did a lot of work. It took 10 days of them lugging and slugging. They have a toddler, they have a big dog. And it's just like, holy cow, I can't believe they got it done. But they got it done. And we'll probably have it sold in 10 days, right? Because if for that area in the community, it is priced the best. So we should sell pretty good. And it shows well. It's
And you
turnkey.
didn't price it way low.
No, I didn't price it low. There was one the road we really looked at. Uh, one sold about 60 days ago for 704 N unit, same floor plan, no base and finished. Showed okay. N unit, a little bit more money. 704. We can't be 699. Just can't. We gotta be 675. And let's go get the pencil and paper out because we gotta walk and we gotta do some prep. We got to look at the presentation. So it started outside. What do we need to do inside? Well, let's get the lawn looking good. They got on top of that right away, fertilized it, cleaned all the bushes out, put some nice mulch. Okay, great. Get the driveway sprayed nice and black. Great, did that. Go buy a plant at Costco on the weekend so that looks nice and inviting when you come in. And then paint the living room, paint the two-piece, paint the kitchen, change the light fixtures in two bathrooms, and paint two bedrooms and paint the hallway up and take down all the personal belongings on the walls. They had a lot of family pictures. I gave them lots. Oh, get the shampooed carpet, get the couch shampooed. And then I left and I went, you need to do the flooring because it just doesn't look good. It's
On the main.
main. Okay. So if someone's really serious in selling in this market, they got to do more than what they did a couple years ago.
Yes. And you know what? I even tell my clients normally, if your bedrooms or if you're a two-story and your stairs and your bedrooms are carpet, if they're in decent shape, you just clean them. But the main area, the main floor, that's the deal breaker for people, right?
It is. It is. So, it did it, but we're not seeing that when we go to see homes today and showing. Some are prepared nice, and I'm always bragging for the ones that I go to. But God, thanks for for allowing the showing, and the feedback is outstanding, a great presentation, right? And I say that in there. And the
Yeah.
one crap, I don't give any feedback because
Well,
they
and that's another thing, people. If your house is listed and you're not getting feedback, it's pretty normal, eh, Mark? Toronto agents, when they show your house, never do they leave feedback.
they don't.
Just so everybody knows, every single brokerage has a system where once a showing is completed, the agent gets an email and asks for feedback. Our company, I think they get 3 emails, eh? 3 or 4. And
Yeah.
they're at and then, if they don't provide it, the next day they get another email. Please provide us feedback. So those are automatically sent.
Yes.
So the feedback is always requested, but it's very flippin' rare that people fill it out. And I'll have a showing and my client will email me, what's the feedback? I don't know because they didn't fill it out and they're going to be emailed 3 times. And
Why shouldn't the feedback go like this? You already know the feedback. I told you what to do and you didn't do it. I told you to price it properly. I told you to paint the kitchen. I told you to get the rug shampooed and the couch maybe and do some decluttering. There's the feedback. Go
well,
do
no,
it.
but I get in some of them where it is pristine, like the one I have that's a brand new build. Our feedback is not bad, Mark, because there's nothing really bad. It's just not for them.
Right. Right. I know.
Right? But we're not like, I don't like to chase an agent for feedback because we look so desperate. Like, I know when I do a showing, if an agent's calling me the next day, can you give me feedback? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I know you're desperate as hell.
If it's priced right, you know what? Who cares about the feedback? If you're priced properly from the market, whether it needs a lot of work or it's all jazzed up or you've done a lot of prep for it, if it's priced considering what you've done and what the home has, who cares about feedback?
Well, a lot. I know I don't, but a lot of my clients do. Now, Mark, the one thing I wanted to also share with you is the 10-year inventory numbers.
Okay. Plug in for, well, plug in that number anyway. Was it 1006?
10:05,
Okay.
wasn't
Yeah, it was.
it? Now, this might change a little bit once we get the actual
Yeah.
numbers from Treb, right? Because I just did it manually.
Let's go. So last year at the same time, I want to keep that number there. So
714.
okay, so let's just show the viewers.
And let me tell you, like, there's no months
Inventory went
ever
up
where we've
29%.
seen, like, good God, we've never even seen 900.
Let's take it right back to 2024 again, because I just got some numbers and I kind of want to show the viewer. We'll go a couple examples and just to show how much it's gone up. So year over year, last year at the same time, we're up 29%. That's a big jump.
Well, Mark, the thing is, last year, okay, it was 714, but every other year, 418, 486, 203. Like 714 was a giant jump from the normal.
So when we look at, and this is something that I would bring to a listing appointment to show, keep it there, to show the sellers where the inventory levels were compared to last year. If we're stuck in this market right here, Dan, of even, well, we'll get there, but further back, let's just go last year, 418. The inventory's up 58% from
From
2 years
2023, yeah.
ago. That means there's a lot of competition on the marketplace and a lot not selling. So there's a great opportunity for people that are very serious and say, you know what, we're real, we're not expecting a high number. We're expecting what the market will give us today. They'll sell. But then
Well, you know, another thing that I've seen, and you've probably seen it too, Great time for buyers.
Great time for buyers right now? Why do you say that?
Well, I don't know, but all the agents around here are saying it. They're putting it on newspapers. They're putting it all over. It's a great time for buyers because there's so much inventory. So I was talking to my sister the other day, who used to work at the Remax front office. Remember, she wasn't a realtor, but she worked at the desk and helped realtors and stuff. And I said to her, I said, you wouldn't believe that like the amount of inventory. We're over 1,000 for the first time ever. And she goes, "Oh, that's great." I'm like, "What do you mean it's great?" "Well, isn't that a good thing?" I said, "No, it's not a good thing." She goes, "Well, it's a good thing for buyers, isn't it?"
See, but she doesn't. She's not wrong. I agree that. I agree that it. In a perfect world, it's a great time because there's a lot more supply. So technically, demand has cooled off. So there should be some prices that come down, and that's what it has been done. If we look back at the peak, so she's right, but prices haven't come down. Sellers going, well, it's not meeting my expectations, so I'm not taking that offer. What? This is what is really frustrating for, I always talk about it and I go ballistic about it, but I just don't understand the process to prep a house, to put it for sale sign, to do this and this. It's a lot of work for both parties, the agent and the home seller, to get it ready. But if your house is priced 75,000 over where it was or back to 2021, it's not happening.
Well, and I've sold house, I just sold my house and moved, and it's not a fun process. Getting the house ready for showings, running around, grabbing my dog. Like, I gotta, you know what I mean? The house has to be clean. Now, my house is always clean, people. It's not like a disaster, but you always want it extra clean. You know what I mean? When there's showings, you don't want one dish in the sink. You don't want anything. And, it's a pain in the ass to list your house and show it.
Yes. Go back to the spreadsheet because I want to do one more year up to 2021 because that's what I really feel we're faced with in this marketplace today is the pricing of back a couple of years ago. So so when we look at we look at 2022, you know, so right now we're at 1,005 and back 3 years ago, we're at 46, which is a 51% increase. We look back here at 2021, like that's unbelievable,
I know we only had 203 listings then.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's an increase of almost 80% from back there. Back here, we know what happened. Everybody knows what happens.
Yeah.
We don't even need to talk about it anymore. But
No.
we're not there anymore. We're back in 2025 zone. And
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Like, we have never, the only other time we had 827 last, well, what is that, September mark?
so move to the
Yeah.
number. And I really didn't think that I thought we'd see that number in July. I didn't think we'd see that number there.
I know. Well, you kept saying, I think by the end of the summer we'll be at 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was just like last month and the month before. I think you said it the last 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're at 1,000 now.
Right. Right. And we'll get the stats. And I'm going to tell you right now, for the Souls and Barrie, without even looking and pulling stuff up, which we're going to do a video on it, we're going to see that's probably down 23, 24%.
I want to try the souls just quick because remember I told you I saw one of the agents in Barrie say that sales were up.
Yeah.
I sent it to you.
Yeah. So,
And I was like, where, like, what the heck are they? Okay, what do I have wrong here?
you got May. You got to the end of the May. Keep going.
This can't be right.
No, you got something wrong. Start over. You got 8 to 9. That's why.
152 freehold.
You gonna do condos?
Yep. Now these might be a little bit different, right? When we do it from the stats because sometimes something didn't firm or something got changed and that'll come out in the wash later. But it'll be close to these numbers.
Yeah. And I think people there's a lot of people, and we get a lot of people reaching out to us that are listed. My house isn't selling, and we really can't talk to them, and nor do we, but we can't interfere with that contract. But man, you got the data right there. Make some decisions on that. Or
35.
30, 35. So right now, out of 1,005 listings, 18.6% is selling.
Okay, what was the number sold?
Oh, I'm way back. I lost that, but 80 where I'm going, this is
Well, Mark,
81%.
you can't lose it. I'm going to put it in there.
Uh, uh,
35 for condo,
so 82% is not selling. That's consistent what we see. 152,
152 and 35.
187. So you punch it in there. So
So
those
last year at this time we had 241.
Mhm.
The year before 308. Even 2022 we had 226 and look at in 2021 401.
And yeah, and the inventory levels, everything was selling back. That was crazy. You couldn't get
Holy
listed.
shit, the only year that we're lower is 2018
Yeah, yeah, I know.
than
And
187.
so it's not that the market's, Dan, it's not that the market's really, 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 really bad and it's in the shitter. It's really, really, really bad in the pricing end of it.
Yeah.
We get realtors from the West Coast watching that video saying, hey, you know what? Things, we see stuff that's priced right, it sells, it's gone. When we're seeing the same thing in our market here in Ontario. And yes, is there some people sitting on the sidelines? Yes, do they think the prices are going to go lower? Yes, do they think there's job fears? Yes, and where the economy's going? Yes, yes, yes. But there's still a big pool of them out there that want to buy.
Yes. And I think that people that think that the prices are going to go down and everybody thinks that it's got to go down by 50% and
No, it's not happening.
well, those remarks, you know what drives me crazy about it is first of all, just to build a new house and buy a lot and for builders to build is like there's no way you can everything would be reduced by 50% because just the cost of building is too high.
So,
And second of all, people, if you actually know exactly what's going to happen, you should start charging people
mm.
because you could make a hell of a lot of money if you can tell the future.
But we could sit here today to say, hey, we went through the numbers. We could sit here today, what you need to do to sell today and how you need to price today. That we can say. That I
Yes.
can control the future on and say, hey, you'll get something.
Well, what I think is we can control the present, but future,
Can't
we
20 days from now, but history's kind of telling us in our marketplace, and we've been seeing it for 2 years now, when we see things come up and it's going, wow, we all jump back, go, holy cow, you see that listing? It came out a really good price. That's not a good thing when realtors say that because what about all the other 98% that's not mispriced? So it's safe to say that 18% of the market's priced properly because that's what's selling.
I know.
81% or 82% isn't priced right because it's not selling.
I know.
That's not a good number to look at. So and I saw big listing days a lot last week. I couldn't believe the amount of listings that were coming on. A lot of rentals still, a lot of relist cancellations. And I've seen some, high sales and I'm going, holy cow, that was 5 or 6 days and they got that. I mean, it was a nice product, higher price point, different buyer. But I still think there's some business to be done in the marketplace. And I think there's a lot of buyers out there that do want to buy. They just don't want to buy it what's currently priced today.
Well, and I think everybody, and I have even some of my buyers, they're saying like there's a fear after that big jump that they're going to overpay.
I don't think anyone's overpaying today.
No, but I mean they're scared to overpay. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like that's why these listings they're nothing selling because people like I can't tell you how many buyers I've talked to in the last 2 weeks that said, well, I want to get a deal.
Well, then you
I
can
don't
up.
want to, I don't want to overpay because, look at all those people that bought in 2022 and now they're underwater.
Yeah, but that's a totally different market though. That's our job to educate them.
Yes, but we have people overpricing right now. So
Oh,
that
I agree
makes
on those
them,
ones. I agree. Don't
yeah,
don't go on this one. Let's not go there because it's way overpriced. That's what I say. Why are we going? It's overpriced.
exactly.
If you really love it, let's just wait 4 months to see what they do because that's usually what it will take. And
Yeah.
then they finally get the price right and then it sells after changing realtors, after many days on market, after many open houses and many price reductions. We've seen it. Imagine if I really think they could have got more if they would have priced it properly for the first.
Yes. But
So
once it
yes,
sits there and it's dated and it gets, and the listing's old and tired, and now people have a lot more negotiating power to
yeah,
hammer you down.
well, they should, but I personally don't think they do in a sense because look at the numbers that we're turning out month over month when we're seeing 18 to 20% of the market of the inventory selling. You think some of those buyers have tried in other properties? Yeah, they
Yeah,
just
I
doesn't meet
do.
my expectations as a seller, so no, we're not even going to entertain it. If you get a goddamn friggin' showing in your property, you get a couple showings in your property this week, you're doing great.
I
You're
know.
doing good. You get I seen a thing on the Sutton thing today. I don't know what's wrong. I need to do something and it's not, no, I've got no showings. And I didn't comment. We'll change the price.
She did last week.
Well, obviously it's not sharp enough.
Yeah, if you read the post, because I saw her original post a couple weeks ago, and then she said, "Well, then I saw the post today, which she said we just did change the price. They just did, and they did all this stuff, and she's still not getting showings.
But I don't know the listing and nor do I want to pull it up and talk about
It's
it,
under
but
seven.
yeah, it's under sevens, but obviously it needs to go under more because you didn't, you know what I mean? And you got to, depending on where, it may still take a couple more days. You can't expect just because I reduced and the people are going to come running. It's still going to take a few days for people to think about it. Okay, let's look at this one. It was priced a little bit more than we wanted to, but let's give it a second chance and go look. So anyway,
Another thing people have to realize too is even on my one in Innisfil, somebody came back to like the 12 days later. They came right away, and they came back 12 days later. It wasn't exactly 12, but a little 10 maybe, and then they put the offer.
yeah, 100%. That's
People
normal,
are not in a rush now. They could see your house and come back 2 weeks later.
right? Or they tried to negotiate on one and it failed. So that happens because there's a lot there is more serious people there, buyers than we think. And we're just the market needs to the sellers need to understand that and position themselves in a better position to capture them. Okay,
Yep.
we're all right. I think that's enough.
It is enough complaining for one day.
Yeah, enough complaining. Okay, see ya.
See ya.